Welcome back. Today we will be taking a look at the A2D Sky Shark. It's 6.7, 4800 Golden Eagles, or around $25 for your regional equivalent. If you are wondering if you should buy this thing, then for Air RB I will be giving you a little explanation. For Ground RB, however, I can safely say that for 6.7 this thing is very good. Very good bomb load, very good rockets. You have 800 rounds, they are the T-31 cannons, the equivalent in the files of the A&M3 or A&M2, I can't really recall, but they are the same guns as the A&Ms. The only difference is the designation. And for this gameplay I will be showing you against jets mostly, because you are 6.7, I haven't gotten a lot of prop games. I think I did 30 games, 2 or 3 of those were against 5.7, 6.3s. The rest was all versus Hortons, A2D-1s, and those two planes are your main competitors. Especially the A2D-1, you have to get above them, and if they rush you down you are in trouble. Sure, I showed you those reversals at the end, or at the start I should say, but those are freak accidents. If they want to, they throttle drop or they outturn you at any speed. The only thing you have is your retention. And retention mostly doesn't mean a lot if you can turn. So it's a bit sketchy to fight the A2D-1s, but for now I will be fighting Germans only. And for the Germans only, this plane is actually very enjoyable. And you can see right here, we are like around equal energy states, and this climb rate is very good. It's about 35 meters a second on the deck, and these early jets have nowhere near that. Power drop off at altitude is very minimal actually. Kind of surprised by that, since the Wyvern has a turboprop as well. If it's a turboprop, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that. If this thing is actually a turboprop, but I'm quite sure it is. And you can just see that I can keep going up. And these people, and the Horton, everyone knows that the Horton has very good retention. And if you didn't, hereby it has very good retention. And I can just keep going up. He has very little chance. Of course, if he dives away, if he extends, if he gets his speed up, he can easily get away from me. But if he fights it in my game, there's no way he's gonna win. Made a 3v1, a 2v1 pretty much by disabling one of his engines, shooting his wingtip off. But Hortons are very tanky and I have to actually finish him later on, which might be the reason I almost lost this game. And again, I can just spiral climb up. 262s have no business following this. And the good thing about 262s is their guns only go 500 meters a second, which is the slowest conventional gun in the game. As long as we don't count the Ki 44 with the 40 mils. Couldn't get a shot on that one, so I just extend towards the other one. As he is doing a broadside turn. He's quite close. I have 800 rounds, so I'm not very sparing. He just rotted. I don't know what he's doing, what kind of defense that was. But it bled more of his speed than it did him any good. 1v1. He's gonna go up. I don't want to go straight over him because he will close the distance, so I just extend towards another path and he dives away. And this is something a lot of jets will do. It's something that's very frustrating. But you can't catch him. You can get above him, you can cut him off, you can do all those things, but you can't outrun him. You compress, and it's kind of problematic. He just took off, crit him in the head on, just dodge it, waiting for the 262. The 262 is camping the base at the moment, because I don't know why he didn't want to fight. Just shoot a bit over him, he tries to dodge, he goes in a flat spin, and he's dead. 262 landed a bit ago. I killed the Horton in the meantime, that's why I have so little ammo. And now we just play the camping game. So I give him some room to get some altitude, get some speed up, so he gets comfortable in engaging me. But he doesn't want to, and here I turn my radar on. It's quite useless and it gives me a goddamn seizure, so I mostly try to turn the radar off. As you can tell on the left, that thing is not very pleasant to look at. It overheats about like 8 minutes into the game, but on like 96%, 97%, it stops overheating completely and you don't lose on that much power. Put it on 100% here for a little bit because I'm going up. I'm going sideways, so he gets the illusion of catching me. And I would just loop over, and he does it again, he just dives away. And this is very frustrating, because he can just do passes on me, he can come to me, and the moment he gets in a bad position, he just dives to his base, and I have very little chance of catching him. And I would catch him here, but by the time I catch him, you know, I'll get reeled by AA, which is something I'm not very fond of, and something I don't really do often. Flame in chat, but this guy has me sitting on the base for about 6 minutes, and I got really fed up with him. Just fight. Don't be a dick. If you need AA, just accept your loss. Especially in the 1v1. If it's 1v6 and you try to land or whatever, be my guest. Try to land. But if it's a 1v1 and you're trying to engage me, he just took off. He has ammo, he hasn't shot at me yet, he has fuel. At least 10 minutes left if he took min fuel. And he just sits on that base like nothing else. Which frustrates me. Because I outplayed this guy about 4 or 5 times. Well, outplayed, of course. It's not very hard in a plane that just goes up like this. But I could have killed him 4 or 5 times. But the AA just denies me. And I'm not gonna throw away a carry. I'm not gonna throw away a 1v6. Of course, a lot of them I made crash. And a lot of them just crashed on their own. But I'm not gonna lose like that. And you can see the slow guns. If this was any other plane, he probably would have killed me right there. Finally stall him out. I do 0% throttle, just to fall over. A little bit faster, because this thing prop hangs so well that by the time you turn around and get a lot of hits from him. Just hits. Miss, got the neck G's, get a crit, and I'm out of ammo. Yeah, I'm out of ammo because I couldn't kill the Horton. I killed one of his engines, I crit his wing. And now I have to RTB. And this guy manages to land. And then I win on tickets, which makes me a bit sad. But I hope it does show you just how powerful this plane can be versus jets, as long as you have the advantage. If you are around the same speed, you're really quite the bitch. Which makes it quite enjoyable. The only problem are the auto-whites and the Hortons, because Hortons are... The rest of the gameplay will be mostly clips, because I don't... want to showcase full games. I just want to showcase what this plane can do. That 262 is around the same speed as me. He might even be a little bit faster. He dodged the head on there with his Reaper, so he lost even a little bit more speed. But you can see he's catching me. He's catching me, but this climb rate, especially at lower speeds, when you look at the 262 at low speed, it has no acceleration whatsoever. And this guy just dodges shells because his shells are slow, they're hard to aim. This does catch you off guard, however. If you assume that people can't aim them and you face someone that would like Razor that actually can, then you just get clapped. But most people can, so I'm just gonna assume that they can't. A lot of people don't fly the 262 when they're experienced. Most people fly different jets. But that's just an assumption, of course. Game versus just Germany. And then things like this will happen. Korea, I climbed, I was at 6 kilometers right above him. And you can see this guy that pops smoke, he is not very fast. He is very slow. I put my throttle on 0 because this thing rips quite easily. It picks up a lot of speed in a dive, it rips around 875. And I always focus the Hortons first. Because Hortons are, as I just said, really much of a bitch. You don't want to fight those things. They outturn you, they out-retention you, and they outrun you as per usual. The only thing you have is your roll, your rudder, and of course your climb rate. But mostly you get them on your 6, and if they get you slow, and they will get you slow eventually because you have to keep dodging them, you die. There's very little you can do. You're gonna see that in this clip as well, because there's another Horton coming in, and there's one behind me, and one behind him as well. He's flying the other way, luckily. He burned up. Dodged the Horton, but the one on my 6 is still latching on. P51 is following me for whatever reason. When you have a teammate and someone's behind you, don't follow your teammate, because that will restrict your teammate. Just bank away a little bit so that the teammate can re-engage. This thing doesn't rip as far as I'm concerned in a turn, except you go Neg-G. It Neg-Gs to like -4 overload, and if you keep it for a little bit you will snap your wings off. I haven't done it yet though. Not in an actual game, that is. Here comes the first Horton. He doesn't have a rudder, so I fake the roll to the right and then go to the left. Very little chance that he can roll with it. Second one comes in, Arado. I'm gonna sit on the 2-9 here. But looking at the Arado, made me miss a shot. And with miss a shot, it means miss the opportunity. And you can see this thing is fast. I'm going 620 and I'm accelerating. But of course at these speeds, when you start touching your controls, you lose speed quite quickly. Couldn't pull. Underlet a little. Second Horton coming in as well. And you can see that the turn rate is not okay. At higher speeds it's doable. But as soon as you go below that 600, 550 mark, they will turn like a biplane and they will not lose speed. And that's the point where you are fucked. It doesn't matter how well you roll, it doesn't matter how well you defensive fly, they are a bitch. Just shot too low there, sadly. But he was fast enough that he would compress, and that was what I was hoping on. Sadly he didn't fly into my guns. And this man can just run circles around me. But I get this very short opportunity here. I underlead again, and look at his turn rate. That's not natural. I thought I was dead here. I rolled into his wingtip, which made it harder for him to aim at me. And then he got cleaned up by a teammate. So I got a bit lucky there. But I'm just putting this in here so you can see what the options are and what you can't really do. If you have to dogfight a Horton, you will die 99% of the time. Guaranteed. If you are forced into one, that is. If you can do it on your terms, you can be fine. If you're on the deck, if you're above him. But if he's forcing a dogfight onto you and you're low, good luck. You're not getting out alive. A2D-1. Another problem of this plane. He's faster than me. By a very small margin. But when I go up like this, I extend away from him and I get altitude. I don't lose a lot of speed, but I get a lot of altitude. So he keeps catching me around the same rate. He's gonna do a lead pursuit, excuse me. And he will catch me. And this might look scary to you if you're flying this thing when they're getting close. And with A2D-1s I do agree. Those guns are something else. And what I do now is I'm gonna convert my altitude into airspeed just to equalize the speed. And when that happens, he's switching up for me because he thinks he's gonna catch me. And the moment I start pulling away, and I mean the literal second, I'm gonna roll over. Because he's going around 250, 300 himself now. Because we were going in the same trajectory and he was barely catching me and I was going 300. That means that he is going around the same speed. So when I go up, there is no chance that he's gonna pull his nose up. And that's how you get behind him. Get a bit of hits. And at this point there's very little he can do. He can dive away because I have good guns and you can't really run from them. I have 800 rounds and I'm not scared to use all of them on you. Something that happens quite often, 7.7 Seahawk. They saw it, overload. This thing picks up a lot of speed and I actually do use the air brake quite a bit. Don't roast me for that one. And this thing just goes up. Like, look at it. He wasn't much slower than me. He still isn't much slower than me. But I can spiral the hell out of him. You can hear the rounds whiz by. He was very close there. So it is risky. And that's what happens when you have such a brick of a plane. That even if you can go up, if you can stall people out, they get a lot of shots on you. And at this point it's just waiting. The flaps do help quite a bit, they just rip quite easily. But when you do pop the flaps, the turn rate does increase quite substantially. Only thing I don't get about this plane is my aim. The A&M3s are mostly the guns I can use the best, like on the F4U4B, the F9Fs and whatever, and on this plane I just can't. I don't know what it is. They still hit like a truck though, so it's all fine. Killed him, want to get my altitude back as soon as I can. Jet fight horizontally, and they're on my altitude, and I don't want to fight their game, I want them to fight my game. C1, see a vampire, he's gonna pitch up to me if I fly away, so I'd rather just force the head on. I miss it, and I miss it again. He's really... I don't know why people want to head on that badly, but he really wants that head on. A vampire I can actually dogfight, because he doesn't have the power to keep up. Of course, if we're both going really fast, and he can just pitch up for me, put his gun on me, and he has enough energy to hang. But at lower speeds, you can easily dogfight a vampire. Got hit by AA, had to R2B. In the meantime I killed 2 more people, but they weren't the best fights. I got very lucky and I don't want to showcase that at the moment. Last guy, vampire. I have more energy than him, so of course it's a bit unfair. He's still pretty fast though. Like I'm only going 500, which is slow for a jet. And he's gonna catch me. But, as per usual, I can go straight and my acceleration will beat his by a mile. Look at this. Just pulling away. Of course I had a little bit more energy to begin with. And I'm just gonna play this one out. It's the same principle. You go up, you extend the way, you equalize the energy and you go up. Because you don't want to fight on fair terms in this plane, it's too much of a brick to do so. Well, I hope this quote-unquote guide made up your mind. If you maybe decide to not play it, because it's not very forgiving. It's a very unforgiving aircraft. So if you're not very good at air, and with that I mean if you struggle to actually kill people, if you struggle to get 1 or 2 kills, then don't get this thing. It's not an easy plane. It's a fun one if you're experienced, if you can play with energy states, but you have to be able to read the game and the enemy plane. But it's a fun little plane, even though it's very frustrating at times due to the R2Y2s. Well, without further ado, if you did enjoy it, leave me a like, leave me a comment, and I'll see you in the next one.